Hey Jackal, we'll be doing something different today, and what I'll show you how to do is how to easily digitize analog video. So I found this camera in a closet. It's a Sony Handycam and it takes in high 8 videotapes, which is something like this one. And how can you digitize a videotape like this one? Well, you first need the tape, obviously, and you need a player, in this case, the camera. Since the camera is old, like a laptop, I need to hook it up to a power supply because the battery is dead. I will now be able to put the tape in and just listen to that audio. Close it up. And that's it. I can now play the tape on the camera, but I want to connect it to the PC. And we'll do that by using a capture card like this one. This is the cheapest one that you can find. It has 3 composite inputs. The yellow one is video, and then you have 2 audio, the left and right channel. The black one is S video, just in case your device also has an S video output. And this will simply plug to a USB port. Now, so you don't plug it all the way into the PC, this also comes with a USB extension cord, which is about 50 centimeters long, just long enough so you can plug it in the back and have this on the table. So I'll connect this to the back of the PC, and once it's connected, the light will light up, which means that it has power. And you'll have to wait a little bit for the PC to install the drivers or detect the capture card. Now once you have this plugged in, you'll have to connect these inputs to your device, in this case my camera. Now this camera has 2 outputs, a yellow one and a black one. The yellow one is video and the black one will be for audio. Now this camera came with its own cable, this one. So this is what I'll use. And also when I bought this device, this is the only thing that I wanted to do. Digitize the high 8 videotapes. So I'll go with yellow on yellow, and as for the audio, it doesn't really matter because I only have one input. In this case, I could have a female end for this one, and then that would split as a Y for both audio channels. But because I don't have that, I'll simply connect it to one audio channel. So now the camera is set up and connected to the PC, but we still won't be able to get the image out. So we would need some kind of a software. So with the Digitizer, we do get this mini CD, but you most likely don't have the CD player to install it, so I also won't be using it. Instead, I'll be using OBS, which is the Open Broadcaster software. So you simply download and install it for either Windows, Mac or Linux, but this will depend on the capture card that you have. Now the one that I have is this one, at least based on the look, so I suggest you buy this one if you also want to digitize VHS tapes. And why do I say that? Well, let me go down so you can see what this actually includes. So in this package, you'll get the digitizer, the extension cable, and the CD, which you won't need, but you do get the cable for the RC inputs, which you'll want to plug into the digitizer and the device, in this case the camera. But in case you have a VCR and you want to convert the tapes, then you will need something like this. And this is something that I don't have, at least not the correct one. So now that you have this device and you have OBS installed, I will now run a new instance of OBS. So I have 2 instances launched, just so I can show you everything when I'll be going into the settings. Now when you install OBS, you won't have anything under the scenes, so you can add a new scene. I'll just type in test. Now you have no sources, you need to add a new one. If you just want the digitizer to show up, you'll have to go to video capture device, give it a name, and the device will show up. In this case, it's USB to PC camera. So I'll simply select it. Nothing shows up, at least not visibly. Let's see, I'll deactivate and activate it. Also, nothing shows up. So in the meantime, for this to show up, I'll turn on the camera into the play mode and press play, just so I can see if something will show up. Now we do get the audio, but let's first go over the video. So what I found is this: if you have high 8 tapes, which is what I have, the resolution in pixels is this, so 720 width by 480 height. And the same goes for VHS. But if you have VHS, the resolution is a bit different. If you have PAL SECAM, or this one if you have, or the same one as the high 8 if the format is NTSC. Now first let me go over the audio so this actually shows up. What I've done is I open the volume mixer, go to the system sounds, because in the beginning I didn't have any audio. So I went to the playback. This would usually be the speakers, and as you can see, nothing shows up, even though I now have it in the OBS. So you will find the audio source in the recordings tab, and this is the microphone that comes from the digitizer. In this case, the name is microphone USB 2. So if you go to the settings in the OBS and go to audio, you will then need to go to the microphone and not the desktop audio. As you can see, the microphone does not show up under the desktop. So in the microphone auxiliary audio, we'll select the drop-down menu and choose the microphone, USB 2 in this case. So this is set up at the moment. You'll then also need to go to output. I have this set to advanced. And since we'll be recording, we'll go to the recordings tab. You'll have to set the path, change the recording format to .mkv. Just in case anything crashes, the recording will save. How many audio tracks you have depends on what you have. In this case, I have 3 checked, so everything is recording. So I'll leave it as is, and the way I have it set up, I will have 2 tracks in this recording. And the last thing that we'll need to set is the video base canvas resolution. This is the one that I'm using now, so you can see the whole screen. And this is done in another instance of OBS, but in this one, we would change the resolution to 720 by 480. And I won't be scaling down anything, so I'll just use the same resolution. In this case, you could also change the common FPS value. So you have 24 NTSC, PAL, or anything else. So I'll just leave it to 30. I'll click apply. Still nothing shows up. So I will right click on the digitizer camera, go to transform and hit fit to screen. So now this should be visible, but we still don't see anything. Let me go to my first scene that also has the digitizer, and we do see something in this scene. So why do we not see an image in this one? So in this case, I honestly have no idea why the video capture device does not show up, even though it is active. Maybe if I deactivate it in this window. Oh, okay. We now have it. Let's see, in this case, the window is a little bit too wide. As you can see, we have some black blurs on the sides. So we could use a different resolution for the X value. In this case, I think I used -77. So let's see, I'll go with 640 by 480. I think this should be okay. Yep, that's okay, looks fine. Now, if you want to record while you're maybe not at home and doing other things, and you don't want to look every 5 minutes if the recording is done, so you can then stop recording, you can go to Tools in OBS, go to Output Timer. In this case, the high 8 tapes that I have are 90 minutes long, so you can set the hours to 1 and minutes to 30, and this will give you 90 minutes. Once you have this set up, you simply press start and this will start recording. But of course you have to turn on the camera. So when I click start, it started recording. The timer is going down, as you can see, and after 90 minutes, this will automatically stop recording. So I'll just stop it for now and just see if this actually worked. So two OBS instances can record at the same time. Now, if you think that this is a little bit too tiny, well, I'll simply go full screen. And this is the quality that you get. Maybe if you use something like Topaz or one of the other AI tools that can scale up the video and also increase the quality, then you could run this footage through those tools. Now I did also want to test the Digitizer with this tape, VHS tape. I did my best, but I don't have the correct tool. This one came with the camera, so at first glance, it's just what I would need. I have a video and two audio inputs, and I say inputs because this is actually an input. This is connected to the camera, so the camera provides the signal that goes to the TV. What I would need though is a signal that comes from the VCR and goes to the digitizer. So the pins on this connector are not correct, and it only has 5 of them. And this one has a switch and it has all of the pins. So you simply flip the switch and it will go from this being the input to this being the input. But you only need something like this if the VCR that you use or have doesn't have the video and 2 audio outputs. In this case, this is an input, so I sadly can't use this. And if I go to the back side, I do have 2 audio outputs. These work just fine. This is something that I would have to use. And this adapter is just not outputting any video or audio. And lastly, you could also use the digitizer with these cassette tapes. What you need in that case is a stereo player, something like this one. You put the cassette tape in, you will play it, but what this stereo also needs is again the outputs. Now my dad does have a device like this one with the correct outputs, but sadly the tape player does not work, so I can't test it. And as a bonus, what can you also make with a device like this and the digitizer? You can make rewind overlay, but you'll have to have a blank tape. So you would simply record, press rewind, and then you would have to cut it a little bit so it doesn't go in and out. So it can look something like this. And then I would simply have to go into DaVinci Resolve and cut out the blue sections to get a nice overlay. That's it for today. I will leave the link to this digitizer in the description below. And if you found the video helpful, you know what to do. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackal, keep it digital.